How's it, everyone? Welcome to another string review right here on OpenCourt. So today we're taking a look at another MSV string. I tried MSV for the first time last year with the Focus Hex, so I was very curious about more strings in their line. So today we're taking a look at the MSV Hepta-Twist. So before we get into this review, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button if you guys like this content to keep the reviews coming. Let's check out the Hepta-Twist. So MSV is a German-based company, and I've only tried one of their strings, the Focus Hex, and that took my #1 spot last year on my top 5 favorite polyesters under $10. So I was very curious to try this Hepta-Twist, which is, as the name implies, a 7-sided and twisted string. I'm starting to like twisted strings more and more these days with the YTEX Quadro Twist and the Vocal V Torque Tour. These twisted strings really add a lot of bite and spin to the tennis ball. So this Hepta-Twist, I got it in a reel here, but they also come in individual sets and they won't break the bank. One set will run you about $10.90. On most online vendors, it depends where you get it from. It also comes in 4 gauges. You can see the gauges listed on the string reel here. It comes in 115, 120, 125, and 130. But as of now, the 125 is the only one that's available on most online retailers. You could probably find the other gauges on the MSV website or maybe foreign vendors. And it comes in 3 colors, the white, red, and anthracite. Anthracite is just basically a charcoal gray color. So I looked up this string a bit and it has a very, very high power rating, and this was rated as the #2 string in terms of spin generation back in 2014, which is, I believe, when this string was released. I wouldn't be surprised if the #1 string was YTEX Quadro Twist, because I know that string was rated #1 in spin production and I love that string. But #2 in spin generation, pretty respectable. So I'm very curious to see if this string will live up to that spin potential promise. So I got the MSV Hepta-Twist strung up here in my Yonex V-Core SV98, which is a very spin-oriented racket. So I'm actually pretty interested to see if this is going to generate that insane spin. So I got it strung up at 52 in the mains and 50 in the crosses. So let's get out on the court and let's test out this MSV Hepta-Twist. So what were the pros of the MSV Hepta-Twist? Well, it's in the name, the spin generation. I'm a big fan of YTEX Quadro Twist, and this MSV Hepta-Twist arguably gets even more spin than that. I playtested the Quadro Twist and Hepta-Twist in different rackets, so without trying them out in the same one, it's hard to definitively say which one gets more, but that's beside the point. You can't go wrong with either if you're looking for spin. The 7-sided and twisted profile definitely grips the ball well and imparts tremendous spin. My favorite shot, and the shot that I noticed the spin potential the most, was on the kick serve. My kick serves were so on point that I was surprised how often the ball bounced out of my opponent's strike zone and they tried hitting outstretched returns, which my partner or I immediately crushed with a volley. This didn't happen every time, but it happened more often than I was used to. I was confident in swinging vertically on my serve, and the topspin brought the ball down inside the service line almost every time. The Hepta-Twist could also hit some biting slices, both on serves and during rallies. The edges on the Hepta-Twist feel a little rounded off and smooth, so it didn't grip the ball quite like Tour Bite or something with sharper edges, but because of the smoother edges, the strings didn't notch and it maintained the spin potential for the full duration of the playtest. Tension also did not change much throughout the life of the string. I typically cut out strings after a few weeks, but the MSV Hepta-Twist lasted a full month without much change. Value hunters or players who are sensitive to tension loss could use the Hepta-Twist without issue. What I liked most about the Hepta-Twist, besides the good spin potential, was the fact that this string allowed me to stay on the gas and play my aggressive game with confidence. Every time the ball came back, I felt confident in swinging all out and not fearing my shot would sail errantly. I could aim deep inside the baseline or wide to the sidelines. My aggressive return game was also on point with the Hepta-Twist, and I could return and volley and flip the table on the server. The Hepta-Twist provides extra pop on returns and pushes my opponents back with ease. The Hepta-Twist and Quadra-Twist are also similar in stiffness. Neither are incredibly soft, but they are soft enough that players with sensitive elbows can probably use them in a lower tension. The Hepta-Twist falls into the category of firm but comfortable. This is quickly becoming my Goldilocks zone for stiffness. I don't like soft, mushy, and springy strings. If anything, I like strings that skew toward really stiff, but the firm and comfortable strings strike a good balance of comfort and impact response. As a doubles player, I noticed these strings have decent put-away power at the net, but in my opinion, where these strings shine is from the baseline. The spin and control of the Hepta-Twist is next level stuff, and I think big servers or aggressive baseliners who like to dominate with punishing ground strokes will be able to take better advantage of the control and spin than someone with slower or more compact swings. If you're a defensive baseliner, something softer and more powerful might be more suited to your game, or another option would be to string the Hepta-Twist in the mid-40s in tension. This string gets enough spin and control that players who want some assistance with power can string this lower and still keep their shots inside the lines. It depends on your racket's string pattern and your personal preference, but be careful with these twisted strings. If you drop the tension too low, they will start getting stuck out of place faster. Now let's move into the cons of the Hepta-Twist because I really like this string, but doesn't mean it was perfect. So the feel. I like crisper playing polys like Link's Tour, Tour Bite, and Poly Tour Fire, just to name a few. This Hepta-Twist felt a little more on the muted side. It doesn't go all the way to RPM blast territory, which just feels dead to me, but it lacked the feel and touch that I enjoy for my angle and drop shot game. I rely on touch and feel not only for drop shots and angle volleys. When I'm hitting short angle ground strokes toward the sideline, or trying to dip the ball at my opponent's feet, or placing the ball in the open gaps, I rely on the crisp response of my strings for those shots mainly. The Hepta-Twist suits more aggressive swingers who just want to hit through their opponents and want something more muted and dead that will keep those huge cuts inside the court. This is typically not the response I am looking for, but if you like RPM or Cyclone, I think you'll find the Hepta-Twist more to your liking than I did. Just for reference, I felt the MSV Focus Hex is a little more responsive and lively than this Hepta-Twist. Secondly, this string has a break-in period, yet another aspect this string shares with Ytech's Quadra-Twist. The Hepta-Twist felt very boardy and stiff fresh off the stringer. I didn't set the tension too high, but I was struggling to clear the net on my serves in the beginning because the strings were getting no pop. The break-in period was longer than I expected, which is why I thought this was going to be a complete letdown of a playtest. But somewhere during the second play session, the strings finally conformed to the racket and it opened up with more power and spin. I think the strings were just lacking a bit of dwell time at the beginning, which affected the power level. Once the strings settled in, everything seemed to come together. Power, spin, feel, control. But it takes a while to get going, so if you try the Hepta-Twist, keep this in mind and just grind through that initial break-in. But that's really the only negatives I had with this playtest. So who is the MSV Hepta-Twist for? I think this string will suit big hitters from the baseline who are looking for spin and control but don't want a completely muted and dead string like RPM. This string does assist a small amount with power, but that isn't its strength. The spin, control, and tension maintenance are this string's selling points, and if those are priority categories for you, I think the Hepta-Twist is worth a look, especially since it isn't too expensive an option. If you like the Focus Hex but want a little more spin, the Hepta-Twist does feel like it generates spin a little better. So overall, between the Focus Hex and Hepta-Twist, I think I like the Focus Hex a little more because it has a slightly livelier response and it's cheaper, but the Hepta-Twist shines on my kick serve and it was so much fun serving with this string. So next up on my MSV list is the Focus Hex Ultra. I've heard good things about that string, so I can't wait to test that one out. In the meantime, I can highly recommend this Hepta-Twist for those who want to add more control and spin to their baseline game. Thank you for watching this review of the MSV Hepta-Twist right here on OpenCourt. If you guys like this content, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an open court.